Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Billy Napier, the Florida Gators have a massive opportunity over the weekend to land one of the more coveted players available in the transfer portal, and former USC center Jason Zandamela. Want to talk about two different things. One, talk Jason Zandamela, talk about why I think he is a perfect fit for this Florida Gators program, and then open up the conversation to a few other targets for the Florida Gators that are available in the transfer portal. Over the last couple of days, I've really been diving in to some of the wide receivers and have identified a few wide receivers that I think would be really good fits in this Florida Gators offense. That's been a position that a lot of Florida fans wanted to see addressed in the portal. They wanted to go after Justice Ross Simmons. He commits to Syracuse. A few other names that I am very intrigued by and potentially would be good fits for the Florida Gators. Fired up to get into this one. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. Massive shout out to the Florida Gator fans, whether we're breaking down the spring game, talking the portal, the amount of support y'all continue to show to the fellas truly does mean a lot. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Much more importantly, would love to hear some of your feedback, some players that you would like to see the Florida Gators be going after. And without further ado, let's get into this one now. Let's start with Jason Zandamela, who I think Florida's in one. You see the crystal balls coming in, but Jason Zandamela took a visit to UCF. It sounded like that visit went well, but he did not leave UCF committing to that program. And now he's going to be on the campus of the Florida Gators. And I think we all know how this portal recruitment plays out. Like, if you have the opportunity to get one of these guys on campus, a lot of times you like the chances of closing at some point during this weekend. And you talk about Jason Zandamela, why I think he is a perfect fit for this Florida Gators program is you can take him and you don't need to play Jason Zandamela in 2024. He was a prospect, that top 50 national guy, a guy that we talked a ton about during that 2024 cycle. We kind of knew that Jason Zandamela wasn't going to be a guy that immediately starts at the college football level, but we also knew that Jason Zandamela would be a guy that has an extremely bright future and a ton of upside during his college football career. In my mind, you're looking at an All-American, an all-conference caliber center in Jason Zandamela, who just kind of an intriguing prospect coming out of high school where, he hasn't really been playing football all that long, moved from Mozambique to the state of Florida, was a guy that only played football for 3 years at the high school level, played rugby before that. You turn on the film and you just see a center that is dripping with pretty much every trait that you want, just needs a little bit more polish, needed to put on a little bit more weight. And I think the good thing for the Florida fans is, he put on that weight at USC during that spring semester. You're getting him at 305 pounds, a guy that when you turn on the film, premier athlete. When you talk about working up to the second level, doing different things at that center position, whether it's pulling to the play side, working up to linebackers, Jason Zandamela is a tier 1 athlete at that center position. More importantly, at 6'3", he's not necessarily the biggest center. That allows him to play with phenomenal pad level, but he has long arms. And when you kind of mix, all right, we're not necessarily the tallest, but we got that length in our arms. You're playing with good pads. You have that good reach to get your hands on opposing defensive linemen. Jason Zandamela will probably need a redshirt year, and that's perfect for how this Florida offensive line shakes out. You have a guy in Jake Slaughter who I think might be the best offensive lineman on this Florida Gators roster heading into 2024, played really well in 2023. And then after Jake Slaughter is gone, you have Jason Zandamela, who's going to be waiting in the wings to be really an elite center in my mind over the next couple of years. And you make no mistake about it, if you're one of the Florida fans that is trusting the process for Billy Napier, the process starts along the line of scrimmage. Jason Zandamela is one of those building blocks. So you start looking at 2025, 2026, guys like Eugene Wilson, DJ Lagway, Jason Zandamela, LJ McCray, all that young talent that Florida has. Those are the years that Florida can be extremely special. And I think Jason Zandamela would certainly play a massive role in kind of Florida taking it up a notch under Billy Napier. One of my favorite prospects in the 2024 class, a guy that I think is such a bright future at the college football level. Really interested to see if Florida can kind of close this one out over the weekend. Now, a more interesting conversation when you're talking the portal. You want immediate impact. Jason Zandamela might not be that guy. This Florida roster, I think, a lot better than a lot of people, I think, want to perceive. A lot of Florida fans said, hey, we need one more wide receiver, a proven difference maker in the portal. You went after a guy like Justice Ross Simmons, who I was a massive fan of. He ends up going back to Western New York, committing to Syracuse. Got in my bag a little bit. Took a look at some other wide receivers that I really like, and I want to take a look at one, Joseph Griffin, a guy that was really coveted coming out of high school, was a four-star prospect. What is Florida looking for at the wide receiver spot? And I think what I mean by that is, if we're going to take a wide receiver, what kind of wide receiver are the Florida Gators looking for? And I think we all agreed it's a guy that can work vertically down the field, a bigger body that can operate on the boundary. We have our separators. We have our guys that can work after the catch. We want to give a little bit more space to the guys like Eugene Wilson. The best way to do that is get wide receivers that can work down the field. Joseph Griffin Jr. coming from Boston College is really, really intriguing. This was a guy that was a four-star prospect coming out during his first 2 years at Boston College, was fairly productive. 43 catches for 579 yards, 6 touchdowns in his first 2 seasons, was a difference maker in the ACC for Boston College as a true freshman. Couple of things that I really like about Joseph Griffin. One, frame is huge, right? This is a guy that is 6'4", 200 pounds, and a guy that can go up and make plays. He has a basketball background coming out of high school. You see that on the film. And again, Florida looking for that boundary receiver that has a big frame that can win 50-50 balls down the field. I look at Joseph Griffin and say, check, check, check. I think he checks all the boxes that the Florida Gators are looking for in a transfer portal wide receiver. I think Joseph Griffin would really be a wide receiver that I think is worth looking at if I'm the Florida Gators. Second one I want to take a look at, and again, one of kind of my gems of the transfer portal class, Jacoby Jones, coming from Ohio University. Now, he went the JUCO route, goes to Ohio in 2022, 44 catches for 770 yards, averaged 18 yards per catch. He's 6'2". He's up to 230 pounds. You take a look at that film, see what he looks like. He's a brick house. This is about as physically gifted as a wide receiver, and I should say as physically built of a wide receiver that you'll see, and he excels in those combat catch situations. He's a load to bring down after the catch, and I look at him and say, yeah, you put up a lot of numbers at Ohio, got injured in 2023. That's a guy that produced at the group of 5 level, and you start having the conversation of, all right, you produced at the power 5 or the group of 5 level. Can you produce at the power 5 level? You'll look at him and say, yeah, he's physically ready to produce at the SEC level. A guy that, again, 18 yards per catch. That is exactly what the Florida Gators are looking for. Would love to see them make a run at Jacoby Jones as well. And for the Florida Gator fans, we talked about this. We weren't going to expect Billy Napier to be extremely aggressive, bringing 10-plus guys in this spring portal window. This roster is in a pretty good spot. It's by far the best roster in terms of depth that we've seen Florida have under Billy Napier. The question that you wanted to see answered is, hey, what are those 1 or 2 pieces that we can add to really take this team maybe up a notch a little bit heading into 2024? A wide receiver that can stretch the field was kind of that position that we identified. Joseph Griffin, Jacoby Jones, 2 names that I would certainly be checking out if I'm the Florida Gators, and we'll see how this one plays out. Again, they wanted to get Justice Ross Simmons on campus. He committed to Syracuse before he got to Gainesville. We'll see if Billy Napier and this Florida Gators program go after another wide receiver that's available in the portal. Obviously, we'll keep you guys updated as it happens. We'll take a deeper dive into Jason Zandamela if and when he does commit to the Florida Gators. He'll be on campus through the next couple of days. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Again, it's been a blast talking this program in the portal. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all later.